Hello, welcome to a new episode of Mostly Engineering and another part in our Enigma Build series. So, welcome to this episode, and we are back at the stepping mechanism. Last video we saw the rotor move for the very first time, and hooray, hooray, very nice moment. And this episode we suddenly have to find out why it doesn't anymore, because yes, I did it a couple of times more, and one morning it just stopped working, basically out of the blue. And if you look at the machine now, it seems like that the drive lever has not enough movement to actually go under the teeth of the rotor and push the rotor over. And this literally just happened overnight with me touching the machine at all. So very strange indeed. If you put the rotor out of register, it sometimes steps a little bit until it falls back into the register. So maybe the problem lies in the registration rollers, but we definitely have to find this problem before I order the metal seesaw. So let's go over to the CAD model, look at it there, do some digging, then compare to the original machine and see if we can find this problem.
So, and here we have the CAD model, and I removed the right hand wall so that we can actually see what's going on. And if you look at the picture from the side, we see actually pretty much what we have at the machine. Our drive lever has not the range in the neutral position to go under the teeth and push the rotor over. And what we can see at the entry disk, that all the contacts are black, while in fact they should show the brass color of our contacts. And yeah, still our registration roller is perfectly in line. So my first review is that this length is off, seems to be correct. Also, I thought, because then let's look at the corrected picture. Now we see how the brass contacts all align. We see how our drive lever can comfortably catch our tooth reel over here to push the rotor over. And yeah, our registration roller still aligns perfectly because our fingering was actually not in the correct position. So yeah, that's still a little bit baffling because everything, all the parts we have machined, all the lengths seem to be correct. And as we see in the neutral position now, it should be able to catch the teeth. And if you look around the machine, we should always have enough space for the seesaw to actually move. So as we see the distance between the axle and the spring casings, there's enough room, so there's no reason for it to bottom out. But still, in our machine, this looks very, very different. So let's take a closer look in the machine and see if we can find the problem. So, and here we can see the problem. So if we have our seesaw in the normal position, our drive lever doesn't go far enough down to actually catch these teeth over here. And the problem is that our axle is already hitting the casings of the spring that keep tension on our registration levers over here. And if we compare this to our CAD model in this position, the drive lever should be able to comfortably catch the teeth, and we should also have space towards the spring casing. So something is severely limiting the movement over here. And if you look at the other side of the seesaw, it should be able to move a little bit higher than this. So we have something that limits our movement here. And then if we push the seesaw down, we see the drive lever gets up, but by the time it can catch a teeth, we are already at the end of the movement. And this little bit of movement is not enough to turn the rotor over. So if we turn it half a turn so that we are not in registration, we can see how it actually should work. So the seesaw goes down, drive lever clicks under the teeth, and then it moves the teeth upwards. But because we are not in register, we can only move the rotor half a turn, and then we are back where we started. So something is definitely limiting the movement of the drive levers over here. So let's take it apart, take some measurements, and see if we can find the problem. So I might have found the answer why our levers bottom out without being able to catch our rotor, and as it seems when we look at our seesaw, this part is bent down by quite a bit. Apparently this material is not very form stable over a long time, and so it bent down. And if you compare it with the other seesaw and a different material, we see by how much this got bent down, and also it seems to be like it got a little bit longer, and then no wonder that the levers don't fit anymore. And yeah, what we are going to do now is I take the axle out, put it back into the all seesaw, then we will see if the rotors move again, and if so, then first of all I'm very happy, and second of all I know I can order the seesaw now in 3D printed metal, stainless steel to be exact, and then we have the necessary stability to move all three rotors, and also the tendency of the plastic to warp is probably non-existent anymore. So with no further ado, let's go to the workbench, change the axis, and hopefully that does the trick. So, and with the all seesaw in, the rotor steps again. So very nice, and the mistake was really due to the fact that this greenish material over here, that it warps over time. And yeah, really happy with the result, because that means that the drive levers, the registration levers, all this arrangement is actually working as intended, and there's not a wrong length or something that would be hard to figure out. And the solution for the problem is to get the seesaw printed in metal, and this is something we had to do anyway, because the plastic ones are not strong enough to move all three rotors. So yeah, a little shock on the end, but everything works again. The next steps will be to tidy up and stiffen up the registration roller arrangement, and with this done and the seesaw done, we are finished with the stepping mechanism, and then we'll go over to the electrics of the machine. But for now, it's time to end the show, so I hope you enjoy this as much as I enjoy seeing the rotor move again. And if you have questions, comments, as always, let them down below, and I try to answer them as quickly and correctly as possible. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and all that I have to say now is thanks for watching, and see you at the next time. Bye bye.